how we can increase, this type of method, like you are teaching us now, to most of the people here, when at the same time we are fighting with another system like psychologists, medicines, every little thing they give you a pill and that's it. That is going to solve it. So it's like a big contradiction in, I don't know how we can get more from method like yours.
Now, one thing we need to understand is, if you have to bring about a subjective solution to every problem that you have, popping a pill is an objective solution. It is never really a solution, it manages your problem in some way so that you can continue your life to a reasonable extent at least. But if you're seeking a subjective solution, that means you're looking for an absolute solution. If you're looking for an absolute solution like that, it needs to be approached with a certain sense of dedication and commitment. Dedication is a very scarce material in the world, and especially in the Western world, it's a very scarce material because we have encouraged a certain type of thought, all the time. It's the market forces which decide everything. Or it's human greed which decides the course of the society. When we say market forces will decide, what we are saying is it's human greed which is deciding, isn't it? Not human sense, not human love, not human compassion, not human anything, but fundamentally it's greed. But it's worked. Economically, it's worked out. Other methods that they tried in other parts of the world, where something else was supposed to direct life's well-being, have failed. They have failed not because there's something wrong with the system, they have failed because the wrong kind of people handled it. For example, when you say communism, it's an ugly word here, you're not even supposed to say it. But I want you to understand what communism means. In its essence, what happened is different. In its essence, what it means is that everybody lives according to his need, not according to his greed. It's a wonderful way to live. If it came voluntarily, consciously, it's a wonderful way to live. But when it is enforced with military, it's the ugliest way to live. When Karl Marx dreamt of a communist world someday, what he said was, Karl Marx knew a lot about economics, but knew nothing about human beings. He knew a lot about economics, but he did not understand the human mind. He believed the richest societies in the world will turn communist. They will share what they have with the poorer classes, and the world will be a fantastic place to live. But you always found it is the poorest of the poor societies which always talked about communism. Poor people want to share, rich people don't want to share. When communism came to Russia after the revolution, Mark Twain? Mark Twain was so excited about communism. He said, how wonderful it should be that people are actually willing to share what they have with people who don't have and live on equal basis. That's the ultimate dream, isn't it? So Mark Twain traveled to Russia to witness this, such a rare event in the world. Never before it's happened. So he was walking on a country road, looking around really, looking for communism everywhere, everything shared and lived together. To some extent it was happening. To a large extent it was happening, but it was being compelled. It was being enforced. It was not happening out of people's wanting to share. One country gentleman was walking with two hens under his arms and he was walking. Mark Twain caught up with him and said, comrade, Is it true that… Are you a communist, he asked. He said, yes, I am a communist, I am a party member. Is it true that if you had 2 mansions, you would give away 1 mansion to somebody who doesn't have? He said, of course, yes, I am a communist. Is it true if you had 2 horse carriages, you would give away 1 to somebody who doesn't have? He said, yes, of course, I am a functionary in the party, I would do it. If you had 2 hens, would you give away 1 hen to somebody? What the hell, that's all I have. So you're willing to share that which you don't have. This Marx did not understand. Marx really must be a really wonderful man. He believed that people will share and live. He propounded a whole philosophy. But the whole experiment turned out so ugly simply because it was forcefully enforced. And another half of the world was doing everything to see that it doesn't work. That was also there. So now, if you want a subjective solution from within, it needs a dedicated approach. For example, the yoga or even let's say the martial arts that came to United States. About 20 years ago, 25 years ago, these things started coming. Gee, they need enormous discipline. If you want to go into martial arts, if you learn martial arts in India, for example, not the popular ones have become like this only, but the traditional martial arts, they will put you through enormous discipline. You have to dedicate your whole life to it, you have to surrender to the Guru. He will teach you in a certain way that it transforms your life, not just you learn to kick and beat. It's a whole long process. You don't get certificates. You don't get certified this belt, that belt, that belt, You don't get any certificate. Till he says, till the master says you can use it, till then, even if somebody comes to kill you, you don't use it. You just die like an ordinary man. Even though you have the potential, with your bare arms you could just knock down 10 people, you don't use it till he approves it. This kind of discipline is enforced. Because if the subjective science has to work, that's how it is. But that kind of martial arts came to United States, in 10 years' time, just see what happened. It became a kicking culture. Yes? You learn and kick anybody in the face. Now you don't have to kick people down below, you can kick them in the face, you learn the new trick. Now, all the self-discipline which went with it went away. It just became like a fighting force. It was not a fighting force, it was another way of controlling the violence in you and make you very self-disciplined and realize at some point. Similarly, yoga came. Now every street corner has yoga studios, every kind of yoga going on. I usually don't enter these studios, but it happened that 3 years ago, I was in Paris. So this lady, she invited me, and because of some obligation, I ended up in the yoga studio to talk to people there, her students. I entered the yoga studio, a hall like this, and I found she just put up a long board of all the different type of yogas she's teaching, all the different type of thing available, like a menu card. 20 different types of yogas. Mantra yoga, Shakti yoga, Shabda yoga, this yoga, that yoga. I just looked at this and I said, where did you get all this? She said, 3 months I was in India. I said, I was born there. In 3 months' time you picked up 20 different types of yogas? Any one of them, if you have to master them, it will take lifetimes. 20 different yogas she's offering in 3 months of visiting India as a tourist. Now, once it becomes like this, obviously subjective sciences are not possible.